Hey everyone, Melissa here, and I'm really happy to be back with you again for Coco Vanilla Studio. What my brief is today is to create a layout from this paper, which is called Feelin Fine. And I've cut the branding strip off, and I think this is the A side here, and this is the B side. So it's really, really beautiful. It's from Sunkissed, of course. And I think there are 3 of us that are up with this paper this week, and the brief is 1 paper 3 ways. So basically we have to use this paper, and I have cut on my Cricut a free cut file from Paige Evans. You can find this in her Happy Scrappy Facebook group, and it's called Corner Doily. And when I cut it, what I didn't realise was that I probably could have placed it closer to the edge, but I didn't. But I'm fine with it. I'm going to work with it. And originally I had thought that this would cut out and I'd have the white cardstock in the background, so I'd just have the doily. But when I cut it, I probably should have cut it in white cardstock and then placed it behind this paper. But I've decided to just go with this because it features this paper in a big way. So this may be more challenging for me on how to build this layout, because if I had the white cardstock, then I would do some mixed media down here and build my layout. But because I've cut it kind of the opposite to how I meant, it means I'm just going to have to try and make this work. And I'm really determined to do that. I think I've been doing a lot of white background layouts lately, and I think it'll be really nice to try doing I guess one that is dominant with pattern paper. So yeah, what else I've got this paper called Fun in the Sun. I've got this paper from the A5 paper stack. My photo this is another holiday, beach holiday layout, and this one obviously is not at the beach. This is in the little house that we stayed in, and Azaria was getting her breakfast ready, and I took a photo because it was cute. And what I'm thinking, because I need to somehow break up this busyness, is probably that, or maybe the other way around actually. Some lightness of the yellow daisies and then layered with that there, which I think will help. So I'm thinking of putting, that kind of there. Even thought about it. No, it might be too much. So I've got those papers. I've also got the accessory stickers, the floral ephemera. I want to say die cuts every time, that's when I turn them over. And then from the pocket cards, I've pulled this cute little one that I can add my journaling, because it's going to be harder to see my journaling, I think, on this paper. I've got a new pack of the, I keep calling these enamel wood buttons with the enamel in them, or epoxy. And then these as well, because I haven't used these for this album for a while, and I was thinking of calling it Chill Out. Yeah, just having your breakfast on holiday is always a time to chill out. So that's my plan, and I'm going to start making. So the first thing I did was put a couple of paper layers behind my photo, so a couple of photo mats. I started with this yellow daisy pattern, which is really, really beautiful, and I'm just roughly cutting around it. It's not perfect because I'm going to distress the edges, so I'm doing that now with my edge distresser tool. And if you don't have a tool like that, you can just use the edge of your scissors. So the second paper I'm using is from the A5 paper stack. You don't get a full 12 by 12 sheet of this, so it's definitely worth investing in the A5 paper stack as well. So now I'm just adding some liquid adhesive to this main paper that I've cut this doily out of, and I considered using gold glitter paper behind the doily, but Azaria and I both decided that the white looked more striking, because I think less is more, and in this instance it just is a really great contrast to the pattern of that Feelin Fine paper. So I've got this pocket card, and I've distressed the edges of it as well, just to make it consistent with my photo, with the distressed edges around my photo. And I've put some craft foam behind my photo just to lift it up, because I don't like things to lie flat, and because the cut file is completely flat, there's no dimension at all, I definitely want things to sit up a bit higher. So I've noticed I've been doing this lately, but I will decide to use my stapler, and I come in after I've glued everything and put the foam down. But because I don't put the foam right to the edge, there's definitely room for me to put my stapler in and add that little bit of texture and detail. So I've taken that tab. I was going to put the date on there. I don't think I do, actually. I can't remember. I'll have to watch this. It's been a while since I made this. And I also was really happy to get one of those buttons onto the page. So now I'm adding my journaling, and my pen did not behave itself at all. And it was kind of, the ink was coming and going a bit, but I kept going and persevered, and I had to go over some letters, and it just ends up looking really messy. So I'm carrying on with it. I'm not really sure what to do at this point. I don't want to rip that card off because I love it. I thought if I add a couple of phrases, a couple of those phrase stickers on there, that will help kind of take the attention away from the bad writing. But to me, my eye just goes to that bad writing. So here I am coming in again, trying to fix it, and all I'm doing is making it worse. So while I work out what to do, I thought maybe if I add my embellishment, it'll take away from it. But, you know, once you've seen it, to me, I can't unsee the error in that. So I have several of these flowers I think were already cut in half, and then I like to cut them in half because you can get more mileage out of them. Rather than hide half of them behind an element, if I cut them in half, I can use them in two different places. So it's still bugging me, but I keep going with it. Just building up these layers behind. I'm not wanting to add too many. I'm very aware that the last layer I made with Sunkissed had a lot of these flowers in it as well, so I'm definitely not wanting to fall into a habit of creating a similar layout. And I don't think I do, because I think that cut file doily is very striking, and I also think that using this pattern paper as a background, which I wouldn't normally do, is different for me as well. So I've put liquid adhesive down on the bottom parts of the flowers, or the parts that are closest to the elements, and then the parts that I've bent up the edges, I then come in once that glue is dry and add some little pop dots. I love the way that gives a lot more dimension and I guess movement to the page. So I just keep going really till I'm happy. I probably say that every time about my embellishing. Some of these flowers I don't cut because they can go on the corners, and so you see a lot more than if it's just a straight edge. You get the two straight edges joining together into the corner, so I can see a lot more of a flower. That's what I'm trying to say. So just adding my dimension. Probably didn't need to show you all of this, but sometimes I think it's good to show you the whole process. So I do find that those little hexagon or octagon little dimensionals, I do find the backing, the little backing bits can end up on my layout, so I do have to be careful to remove them. Now I'm going with what I said at the beginning. I'm using the title Chill Out. Thought about putting the out down there, but it bugged me. So I'm putting it here, and it's sitting over the edge of off the photo, and because it's popped up on the foam, I am going to have to put some of this dimensional adhesive behind the T on the word out. So I had put one little pop dot down, but I've pulled it off, and I've just cut a thin piece, and you'd never know it was there. It's kind of hidden, but it lifts it up and makes it even with the rest of that title. So I put a heart on top of that card as well, and now I'm wanting to try and see what I can use from die cuts. They're probably the embellishment that I've used the least from this collection on all of my layouts. Could be because some of them are tropical themed, and this definitely wasn't a tropical holiday, but in this instance she's cooking breakfast, so I thought I could get some of the fruit like the watermelons onto the page. Now here is my saving grace. I found this die cut, and it's a frame, and it's white, and it fits my journaling in perfectly, and I had no trouble with my pen. So all I'm going to do is glue it on top of that messy writing, and you never know, and I'm so happy with that. It saved the day, really. Also, finally got one of these umbrellas onto the page. It's very subtle. I just think it goes well with the summer theme. It's orange, and the background is a bit orange in that area as well, but I can see it, and I just think it adds a little bit of whimsy to my page. So now I'm wanting to add this orange slice, which is really, really sweet. and this leaf as well, just to provide a bit more interest and detail to my page. So I've bent the edges up. I was trying to get that other piece of watermelon on, but I decided that the one piece was enough. There was no watermelon in this photo, in this breakfast, but it really doesn't matter. It's just about adding elements that enhance the story, even though they're not exactly themey. And you know what? You can add whatever you want on your pages, really. They don't have to tell exactly. The embellishments don't have to be exactly what's in the photo. In fact, I like it when they're not. Sometimes I just add things because I like them. So just adding a few more, trying to decide when it's done. There was a bit of a gap there, so I added in that blue one. And when I put the umbrella down, there was also a gap above the word chill, so I put an orange one in. Just playing around. And it was great to use up this piece of flower because there wasn't much left to it. So it's only like a subtle touch, really, because I think that you're really looking at the word out when you're looking at my title, when you're looking at that part of the layout. So those are the thoughts behind, I guess, my process. Tried to get one of these palm trees on again, but I'm very aware that we stay at a native bush and there are no palm trees that are native in New Zealand. So my final touch is to add some black splatters. This is just some really old Heidi Swap Colour Shine. And yeah, I think I went for pewter by mistake, so then I had to come in with the black, and I don't mind that I have the two shades on there. I think it works really well. So just dabbing up some of the ink that got on that glitter heart, but that is my layout. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Definitely head on over to the blog where you can read more about my process and see some of these photos. Thank you so much for watching.